Your kids have grown up and they've moved out of the house. You find yourself sitting in the living room one evening and you glance down to the far end of the sofa and you see your partner all the way down on the other end of it. And you think to yourself, I have no idea what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. If you can relate to that at all, this podcast is for you. Hi, I'm Michael. This is my wife, Stacy, and we have the old married couple trying new things. Welcome to our podcast. And the name pretty much says it all. We're in exactly that position I described, and this podcast is about all the things we're doing to try to rekindle. And I'd say rekindle like things fell apart, and things didn't really fall apart, but you get the idea. It's about getting out there and doing new things.
Yeah, we're just kind of trying to stay young, I guess, would be the best way to put it, and keep the relationship solid. And it's kind of like dating again when you get the kids out of the house because it is. And it can be fun. But you also, as Mike described, we had that moment, I think, where you kind of look down at the end of the couch and you're each playing a game on your phone and you're watching something boring on TV and you calculate life expectancy and you think it's going to be a long 30 or so years.
Right. Now, we did have the advantage over a lot of people of one of the things we did right, and we did a lot of things right. We raised 4 amazing children into even more amazing adults. And
true.
If you raise your kids right, then you have automatic built-in cool people to hang out with.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, and I think we did that. But the other thing we did right was we started way too early, and I kind of phrased that way on purpose because it hurt when we were starting out trying to get going. But as the kids have grown up and moved out of the house, we're still quite young, and we've got a lot of time to go out there and act like fools.
Right. So we did.
Speaking of acting like fools, where's your hat?
I'm not wearing a hat today. I could not find a hat that... This is going to sound stupid. I'm wearing a black shirt. I couldn't find a hat that matched with what I'm wearing. I'm not kidding. I know, right?
I can't. And she's got about 20 hats, y'all.
I know. I just couldn't find... Yeah. Yeah, so no hat this week, but next week I'll wear a hat.
Fair enough. So what are we talking about today?
Well, we've got a lot going on today. So we are going to do a quick little shout out. I've got a great recipe. You've got a life hack. But more importantly, we went axe throwing. And
nobody lost any digits.
Which,
it's amazing.
Yeah, was surprising. So we're going to get into that in just a few. But I do want to just give a quick shout out. Our page has really grown, our Facebook page, and we've got some new Twitter followers and we've got some new Instagram followers, and I cannot pronounce all the names, and I also didn't write them all down, but if you are one of our new followers and you're just exploring our podcast, thank you, and we're glad you're here.
Definitely.
We really appreciate
and please leave a review, especially on Apple Podcasts, if that's where you're listening. Take the moment and leave a review. And if you can actually write a review, that helps us out quite a bit. So we would greatly appreciate that. But even just listening, that's huge.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you so much. And as always, be sure to check out our website, too, which is omcbroadcasting.com.
Had to think about that one for a second, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It took me just a minute. Anyway, I'm just going to... talk about a recipe.
There you go. Talk about a recipe. Which one?
Well, so, I'm so off season. So it is absolutely not crawfish season.
Nope. Can't get them. Other than frozen. And
right. And, sometimes you have to make do. You've got to do what you've got to do. But I have just been dying for crawfish, and I've just wanted... It seems like all of my crawfish recipes are what I wanted to do. So I found this great new recipe for Crawfish Monica. And for those who don't know, Crawfish Monica is not a stripper from the bayou.
But she could be.
It could be.
So I got to do a timeout here. Not because you just referred to Crawfish Monica as the perfect stripper name for Louisiana. And it is, ladies, if you happen to be an adult entertainer, think about it. But back to you, and you said you found a new recipe for Crawfish Monica.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love your old recipe for Crawfish Monica, the only one that I know that you've made.
Yeah.
So, no.
No,
That's all I'm saying.
This is even better. So,
All right. Well, you tell me what's in it, and I'll decide that for myself. Because Stacy, I harass her sometimes for not being a great cook, but if you look at me, I haven't missed a meal. Stacy's a pretty good cook, so I'm dubious about a new recipe when the old one was that good.
well, this one takes a little bit more work. So, and we'll post this to our website, but it takes a little more work because you make the seasoning yourself rather than just reach for your go-to. A lot of times I'll if it calls for a complicated seasoning or some sort of Creole seasoning, I'll just grab the Slap Ya Mama. A lot of people will grab the Tony Chachere's,
But they're wrong.
Yeah, I'm team Slap Ya Mama. But this is you actually make it. You make the essence, which is the seasoning.
Okay.
And it's Emerald's recipe for the essence.
So that's probably pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah. So to describe Crawfish Monica just real quick for those who have never had it, it is high fat and high carb because it's a pasta dish with a cream sauce.
It's not diet food, y'all.
Nope. And some crawfish. But it's really good, and it's pretty simple to make all in all. Your sauce is going to be, butter and heavy cream and a little bit of white wine. This is always fun for me when I'm cooking with white wine because I always forget how much I need. So I'll generally pick up a couple bottles just in case.
Then she drinks 1 3/4 bottles of wine because she only really needed about that much.
Yeah, this calls for a quarter cup. So anyway, but it's super easy. A little bit of lemon juice, some garlic, your crawfish. But the fun part of it is I just want to talk about this essence for a minute because the seasonings and the essence are fantastic. And obviously you mix this up, ahead of time and then you throw it in. But you've got paprika, salt, garlic powder, black pepper, onion powder, cayenne pepper, oregano, and thyme.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Which is a little more than what the Slap Ya Mama is.
Is it?
Yeah, the Slap Ya Mama is basically just it's got a little bit of cayenne and salts, a lot of salts.
Well, yeah, but it's got black pepper and cayenne, and I bet you it's close.
I think it's close, but not quite the same.
But Emerald doesn't work for the company that makes Slap Ya Mama.
Right, so you can have Emerald's essence. But yeah, so anyway, you like that, did you?
No, I don't. Nobody wants Emerald's essence. But the seasoning sounds good.
But
Emerald's essence. I'm done. We haven't even been drinking, y'all.
I always feel like I should be before I start doing this, but I don't. Anyway, this is real simple. It's just you cook up your pasta and then you make your sauce with your olive oil and your butter, and you've got to have some chopped onion and garlic. You throw in your essence, a little extra salt just for more fun, your white wine, your heavy cream, your lemon juice. You make a little sauce, throw in your crawfish tails, and then you toss it all on your pasta with a little bit of Parmesan too.
Right.
And it's fantastic.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I got the first time I went to Jazz Fest is the first time I had Crawfish Monica, and
it's almost like an Alfredo, only a lot tastier and no Parmesan.
It is, yeah. No, you
Is
put
it
Parmesan in this one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's, amazing.
It's good stuff. So there you go. Make some Crawfish Monica. You'll have to use frozen crawfish, and I will tell you this: when you have to use frozen crawfish, because sometimes you just do. It's not always crawfish season. Be sure to buy the Louisiana crawfish, though. I mean, you'll notice the difference if you don't. It's good stuff. So there you go.
And if you don't get Louisiana crawfish, you're buying Chinese crawfish, and that's where the COVID comes from.
Would you shut up?
No.
That's not even...
Just starting a conspiracy theory on the podcast.
Okay, this is not Alex Jones. This is something else.
No.
Move on.
Move on. No, don't do it.
Okay, so let's talk about axe throwing, though.
Axe throwing was awesome fun.
It was fun.
I was surprisingly bad at it.
Yeah. Oh, I was awful.
I was surprised by that, too, because early on in our marriage, you threw a lot of stuff at me, and you usually connected.
Yeah. I have a pretty good
Yeah, you
pretty
can
good
throw.
arm, and I can throw darts, which actually some people apparently do the axe throwing like darts, like. They would have, because they had that scoreboard there, and
Right,
keep
yeah, you can
track, and it
score.
was a bullseye
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely scoring involved. But you don't throw them anywhere near the same, because I can throw darts too, and throwing those axes was
Yeah.
like the release point's weird. I mean, when you kind of release as your hand's moving down, it's really difficult to, at least was for me, to get the mechanics of it.
Yeah, I definitely had a hard time with it.
But in Little League, when I tried to be a pitcher, I think I walked 60 batters.
Okay.
So I've never been really particularly good.
All right. Well, sure. All right.
I'm hoping one of the guys I played Little League baseball with is watching this, because he'll remember.
Oh, yeah, that kid.
Oh, yeah. We remember that. He kept bugging to pitch until they finally let him, and we lost that game by a lot.
So, well, at least it's a core memory for you, apparently.
Oh, it's burned right in there, because Coach wouldn't pull me off the mound. He made me finish out the game.
That's cruel to everyone. So, anyway, about the axe throwing. So, we went to this place, and I'll tell you, first of all, I was a little concerned because the place is called Stumpy's Hatchet House. So I'm like, oh, am I going to lose a limb or a digit?
And did Stumpy before you opened the Hatchet House?
Yeah. And
Real questions.
Yes. And then they tell you when you make your reservation that you have to wear closed-toed shoes, which again led me to think that I might be in danger of losing a digit.
Yeah, there were concerns.
But it didn't happen. The axe never, even no matter how many times that axe bounced, and it did, because I threw it and it would connect with the board, but not hard enough to stick. So then it bounces back at you, but not far enough at me that I was in any danger.
Right.
I still screamed every time.
But even as aggressively as the boys, Logan and Liam went with us. We did that one for Liam's birthday.
Yes,
right?
yes, we went during Liam's birthday.
And they were, into it and aggressively throwing those axes. And and just if you know our boys,
Well,
Logan and Liam
they got pretty good at it.
They did.
Yeah.
But they, nobody got hurt, and I was really anticipating.
Yeah, I was concerned about that too. But it didn't happen. It was it was perfectly safe, actually. And there were lots of other groups doing it. They do have a bar there, and I waited until I was done throwing to have anything to drink, because I feel like a couple drinks and an axe is not
I don't know.
a good combo.
I mean, they got to have some good insurance, because we got a bar, come throw axes. It just doesn't.
But I think people are generally responsible if you're going axe throwing. And it was fun.
It was.
It was a lot
good
of fun.
Time. It was just a nice diversion, a different thing to go do. They weren't super slammed either. They weren't particularly busy. No, we did go midweek, because those are my days off typically from work.
Yeah, but it was still, they have several areas where you can throw, and they put up to 4 people in an area. So the 4 of us, we were all, and there are 2.
It's almost like a batting cage.
Yeah,
for baseball. Really, you've got your cage area where you're, it's like you're throwing darts, but they got a cage around you, so the darts don't hit innocent bystanders, and the darts are axes.
And 2 people at a time go up and throw.
Right.
But great way to release a little bit of aggression and stuff.
Oh,
too.
for sure. You got a bad day at work? Go throw some axes.
Yeah.
You could actually tack your boss's picture up on the thing and throw axes at your boss.
Do you feel like you need to do that?
That's our next outing. Getting everybody together next week.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Whatever. Whatever.
Need to make a little note. 8x10 of Allen. Okay, good deal.
Wow. Name and everything.
Yeah, I know. Call them right out.
So, it was a good time. I would definitely do it again. Tell me this. What was your favorite moment in the axe throwing?
My favorite moment in the axe throwing? Mm-hmm. Realizing that I was never going to be good at it and just sitting down and drinking. Really. Okay. I mean, it was fun, and I got some serious aggression out. But I enjoyed watching the boys really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed that. And, it was just fun. Definitely a different thing to do.
Yeah, I do want to mention that they have somebody who comes around and helps you, like explains how to do it, because it is a different kind of throwing than
Definitely
than what
different.
you might be used to, and that was fun and stuff. Yeah, I think my favorite part was just throwing it. That was a good tension release. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
It was. Now, there were some other spots that it caused me some concern, like when they were going over the rules and the safety stuff at the beginning. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what have we signed up for?
Why is that?
Well, because it sounded like people lose limbs there all the time. By the time they were going through the list of all of the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But I don't think that really happens. I don't think that's just a safety thing. People
Probably.
don't.
I still can't wrap my head around the fact, let's pour a bunch of liquor into people and give them axes to throw.
Well, I think they're more responsible than that.
Yeah, but it just doesn't sound... I mean, it was fun. Do not get me wrong. I'm going to go again. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
But who thought this was a good idea? A lot of my favorite things to do are not good ideas. So, it's right up my alley.
Okay. All right. So you said you'd go again for sure, and then rate it as an activity 1 through 10. What do you think?
I'd probably give it like a 7, maybe an 8. It wasn't like, ooh, that was the best thing I've ever done, but it didn't suck.
Okay.
It's definitely way higher than a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I would nudge it into the 8.59 range, definitely. I really enjoyed it.
You don't
It was
get
a lot
out of the
fun.
house much, though, right?
Okay. So,
do
you have a life hack for us?
I sure do.
Great.
So, do you have a pair of scissors, like a pair of kitchen scissors that you've used for utility stuff around the house, and you made your wife really mad because they're dull and now they just fold paper in half?
Oh, we do.
I know we do. Do you guys? Because here's how you sharpen them the easy way. Take some medium grit sandpaper and just cut several strips of it.
Oh.
And just the process of cutting the strips of sandpaper sharpens the scissors.
Oh, that is clever.
Mm-hmm.
Great. We've got some sandpaper too, so you can get right on that.
Yeah. So I looked that up because I pretty much destroyed your scissors in terms of that they're very dull.
I know. Okay.
So yeah, that's my life hack for today, which is better than last week because I don't have to get up and go find stuff. No show and tell. Medium grit sandpaper, though, don't get the really coarse stuff because that'll damage the scissors.
Oh, well, how will that damage them?
Because it's almost like they're boulders glued to a piece of paper.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I mean, they're just big pieces of... It's almost more like gravel than sand. When you're dealing with coarse sandpaper. Medium, I suppose fine would work too, but medium, a couple of strips and you're good. They're sharpened.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
So... there you go, y'all.
Do you have anything else that you want to share today?
Anything else that I want to share today? I don't know. Why do you want me to sing a song?
I don't. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to sing a song. I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think you know what? I'm going to share this because we talk about why we're doing the show. Okay. But I mean, we've got enough listeners now. I got to tell you guys, get out there and do something and just make sure you're doing it together. Because that's huge. I had a couple at work this week that I talked to, and they made me sad. Okay. They'd both been divorced. They were our age. They were in a new relationship with each other. About 6 years into the relationship, not married.
Okay.
But living together and stuff. And she really liked to go travel. She had retired a little early. He was still working and didn't seem to want to do anything with her. And I'm just thinking to myself, are you guys trying to make this second relationship not work? Because it's about those shared interests. That's even if you just take the relationship out of it and think about a business relationship, right? If you don't have common goals, that business relationship is going to fall apart. If you don't have common, shared interests, common goals, the business relationship's going away. The same thing happens to your personal relationships. And I mean, I'm no psychologist, right? Probably don't come to me for marriage advice. It's a small miracle that Stacy didn't leave me at some point along the line. But holy cow, you've got to put in the effort to do stuff together. you know, and if your partner's not willing to give on the kind of stuff he or she wants to do, try out some of the stuff that they like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that friendship piece is really important to keeping things together. That said, I do want to remind everyone we are not professional marriage counselors.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
no.
So
And it is a small miracle that we're still married. I mean, yeah, and I'm not saying that I was bail on Stacy in a heartbeat, but there were times when things were rough, you know,
Well,
and we
sure.
didn't know the things that we know now.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I think sharing that information with people and some of that, I mean, for lack of a better word, wisdom. I don't consider myself wise, but that experience is important, I guess.
Yeah. You certainly you learn things through experience, and we've kind of learned, and yes, and that's what we're doing, is we're just sharing what our experience has been and what we have learned and how we've kept it together. And you know, as we said, I think it was last week when we were talking, if this gives one couple enough information to kind of figure it out and keep it together, then it will have been,
Right.
very much worth it.
Now, I'll say this. It does take both people in the relationship committing to making it work.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
if you're doing all the work and your spouse does not care, just go ahead and get out, because nobody should be miserable.
Right. Well, life's
I
short.
mean, I really
Be
believe
happy.
that. Life is short. Yeah, life's short. Be happy. In case you were wondering what all the background noise was, I think we're one animal short of the entire household being in our studio right now.
Yeah. Our dog came in, and one of the cats is in. We've got 2 cats and a dog in there. Yeah, they're a lot.
2 cats and a dog. Guess how many I adopted personally? None. I love them all, but none. Kids brought them home. They were all miscellaneous strays, and they just dumped them on our doorstep. And then they all left, and now we have 3 pets that we have to look after.
But we love it. So anyway,
We do.
anything else?
No, I think that's going to wrap it up for me. Do you have anything else?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the Old Married Couple Trying New Things podcast. It's a production of OMC Broadcasting. Be sure to check out our website at omcbroadcasting.com and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're the Old Married Couple. And stay tuned for next week. You can always find our podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. So Spotify, Apple, wherever. Find
There we
us. There we are. And enjoy. Thanks for listening.
Oh, speaking of next week, are we talking about improv next week? Is that our plan? Is that our next episode?
We can do improv next week.
Ooh, we're doing improv, y'all. It's fun. So stay tuned for that. Next week will be a good episode as well. And again, like Stacy said, thanks for listening. Bye, y'all.
Bye.